If you clicked on this video by accident, this message is not for you. But if you've been waking up around 3 a.m. with your heart racing, feeling restless for no logical reason, like something inside you is trying to break out, then listen very carefully. What you're experiencing is not anxiety. It's not weakness. And it's definitely not a mistake. It's the moment your body realizes it can no longer hold the life you're being prepared for. You might feel as though your body has become a lightning rod for an invisible storm. And while the world would label this as simple anxiety, you are actually experiencing a profound frequency mismatch. This phenomenon occurs when your internal spirit has already shifted into a higher dimension of abundance. But your physical nervous system is still tethered to the old, familiar frequency of scarcity. Imagine trying to run high-voltage electricity through a house wired for a single light bulb. The flickering and the humming you feel in your chest is the result of your physical vessel expanding to accommodate a massive download of spiritual power. This is why you feel a strange, vibrating, restless energy that makes it impossible to settle into your normal routine. This turbulence is most intense during the watchman's hour, that specific window around 3 a.m., when the noise of the collective world is silenced and the veil between your current reality and your destiny is at its thinnest. When you wake up at this hour with your heart racing, it isn't because something is wrong. It is because your prophetic alarm clock is ringing, signaling that your spirit is receiving a massive data transfer regarding your next steps. At this hour, the squeeze of your current environment becomes unbearable because you are literally outgrowing your old life. Like a seed that must crack its shell to become a tree, the pressure you feel is the necessary force required to break your old identity so the chosen one version of you can finally emerge. It is crucial to distinguish between the anxiety of lack and the adrenaline of promotion. The former is a heavy, draining dread rooted in the past, while the latter is a high-frequency, nervous excitement that signals you are standing on the precipice of something massive. You aren't losing your mind. You are losing your tolerance for mediocrity. Your nervous system is being recalibrated to handle the weight of the glory that is coming. When the bank account shifts and the influence expands, you will need a body that can remain still and grounded in the center of the storm. This current turbulence is your training ground, a spiritual stress test designed to ensure that when the tsunami of provision arrives, you will be the one standing firm while everyone else is swept away by the shock of it. What you are currently fighting is not just a fluctuating bank balance or a difficult job market. It is a cellular memory of lack that has been passed down like a spiritual heirloom through your bloodline. This is what modern science increasingly recognizes as epigenetics. The reality that the trauma, financial terror, and survival struggles of your ancestors, from those who endured the Great Depression to those who faced systemic exclusion, have left a chemical mark on your genetic hardware. You have inherited an ancestral virus, a silent code that views poverty as a survival strategy because, in the minds of your predecessors, staying small and invisible was the only way to remain safe. This code creates a subconscious safety in poverty trap, where your mind equates wealth with danger, isolation, or betrayal of your family's history. As a child, you likely witnessed the heavy weight of financial stress at the kitchen table, and, in your innocence, you made a silent vow of loyalty to that struggle. You told yourself that you would never be greedy, which your subconscious translated into a command to never be truly abundant. You began to believe that to be one of them, you had to suffer like them. This is the root of the self-sabotage you experience every time you get a few steps ahead. Just as you begin to breathe, the virus triggers a fever of anxiety that compels you to spend, lose, or give away your progress so you can return to the familiar, low-temperature state of scarcity. This is not a lack of discipline. It is a biological defense mechanism protecting a version of you that no longer needs protection. Deleting this hidden scarcity code requires a radical and conscious renunciation of the oaths you never even knew you took. You must realize that your ancestors did not survive their hardships so that you could repeat them. They survived so that you could be the one to end the cycle of lack forever. The most profound way to honor your lineage is not to mirror their poverty, but to become the one who uses wealth to change the family name and rewrite the possibilities for everyone who follows you. You are hitting the delete key on the genetic hardware of struggle by acknowledging that not enough is a lie that stops with your generation. As you scrub this virus from your system, you are not just liberating your own future. You are performing a spiritual audit of your entire history, clearing the path for a sovereign, gold-plated identity that is biologically and spiritually prepared to lead an empire. Most people treat the pursuit of wealth as a purely intellectual or hustle-based game, but they fail to realize that their bank account will never consistently exceed the capacity of their nervous system to remain calm. This is governed by your internal thermostat, a subconscious setting that dictates exactly how much goodness, peace, and abundance you are allowed to experience before your brain sounds the alarm. If you have spent your entire life in survival mode, your system is addicted to high levels of cortisol and the constant hum of a crisis. When a sudden windfall or a massive opportunity enters your life, it acts like a high-voltage surge hitting a wire that was only designed for low-wattage struggle. Without a high-voltage vessel, the sheer shock of sudden success will cause you to subconsciously self-sabotage, tripping your internal breakers through impulsive spending, paralyzing indecision, or health issues, just to return the temperature to a level your body recognizes as safe. Expanding your vessel means moving out of this reactive state and into what is known as your window of tolerance, where you can experience intense positive shifts without your heart rate hitting a panic threshold. You must practice the art of grounding the glory, which involves teaching your body to stay present and centered while the numbers in your account grow. This somatic preparation is what separates the lottery winner, who ends up broke, from the sovereign leader who builds a lasting legacy. You are currently in a spiritual and physical expansion phase, learning how to breathe through the exhilaration and stay grounded in the stillness of your own power. By regulating your nervous system now, you are ensuring that when the millions arrive, they will not be a shock that breaks you, but a resource that fuels your highest purpose. True wealth is not a mystical accident, but a byproduct of a specific solution delivered through your unique lens to a world in need of an answer. While the spiritual work focuses on the vessel, the material work requires you to recognize that the transfer of wealth is actually a transfer of blueprints. You must understand that God does not just drop cash into a void. He drops billion-dollar seeds into the fertile soil of a prepared mind. These are the flashes of insight that hit you in the shower, or the sudden clarity that arrives during those restless 3 a.m. vigils we discussed earlier. These moments are not mere daydreams. They are intellectual downloads, the divine architecture for the business, the project, or the creative solution that will serve as the physical vehicle for your abundance. And you are being handed the how to match the why you have carried for so long. And your task is to differentiate between the frantic noise of busy work and the rhythmic pull of kingdom work. Busy work is a trauma response designed to make you feel productive while you are actually running in place, whereas a divine download offers a high-leverage path that solves a problem for others while creating sovereignty for you. You must stop waiting for a miracle to fall from the sky and start looking for the miracle that has already landed in your mind as an idea you have been too intimidated to execute. This is the bridge where the spiritual meets the strategic. You are being called to act as the CEO of this incoming empire, which means documenting every spark of inspiration and treating your ideas with the reverence they deserve. When you begin to move on these downloads with the precision of a strategist and the faith of a chosen one, the universe responds by aligning the resources, the people, and the timing. You aren't just manifesting money. You are manifesting a legacy by turning invisible concepts into a tangible reality that the economy is forced to recognize and reward. God is a God of order, and a miracle without a management system is a disaster waiting to happen. You have been praying for the harvest, but you must now ask yourself if you have the granaries built to store it. This is why you must move beyond the spiritual atmosphere and begin constructing a physical landing strip in your logistical reality. Sudden wealth requires a clear, organized space to land, or it will simply bounce off the chaos of your current life. This begins with your digital environment. You must purge the old receipts of a life of lack, unsubscribe from the marketing of consumerism that preys on your scarcity mindset, and organize your financial accounts so that they reflect the clarity of a CEO. Your email inbox and your banking apps are the control centers of your new empire. If they are cluttered with unresolved debts and junk, you are signaling to the universe that you are not yet ready to steward a greater flow. Furthermore, you must prepare the legal vessel for your abundance. In the American economic landscape, wealth is protected and multiplied through structure, not through individual effort alone. This means researching and establishing the legal entities, such as LLCs or trusts, that will house your assets and protect your family's future. When you take the time to learn about tax efficiency and asset protection, you are showing the spiritual realm that you are no longer a child wishing for a jackpot, but a sovereign leader preparing for an inheritance. God will not entrust a billion-dollar blessing to someone with cent-level management habits. By building this logistical protocol now, you are putting the enemy on notice that you are playing for keeps. You are creating a professional, dignified space that commands respect from the world and provides a secure foundation for the sudden, divine transfer that is currently pending over your life. As your spiritual and financial frequency shifts, the geometry of your social circle will inevitably be forced to change, because the weight of your new reality requires a foundation that most people simply haven't built. You must understand that the moment you begin to walk in the suddenness of God, you become a mirror that reflects either the inspiration or the deep-seated insecurity of everyone around you. This is why you must operate with a high level of spiritual discernment to distinguish between the destiny helpers sent to anchor your vision and the monitoring spirits sent to sabotage it. A monitoring spirit is not always a stranger in the shadows. Often, it is someone in your inner circle who has become addicted to your struggle because it made them feel superior or needed. These individuals don't want you to fail, but they are terrified of you succeeding beyond their ability to control or understand you. They ask concerned questions that are actually intelligence-gathering missions, looking for a crack in your resolve or a piece of data they can use to gossip about your process before it is fully birthed. In contrast, a destiny helper is someone like the biblical Barnabas or Silas, a person whose own nervous system is regulated enough to handle your glory without becoming jealous. These are the rare individuals who can hear about your million-dollar deposit and feel a genuine surge of joy, because they understand that your win is a win for the entire kingdom. You have been isolated for so long, because the universe was protecting you from the crab-in-a-bucket mentality that permeates much of American social culture, where the moment one person starts to climb, the others reach up to pull them back down to the level of commonality. Moving forward, you must adopt the strategy of selective vulnerability, sharing the what of your success without ever disclosing the how much or the when. Your silence is not an act of unkindness. It is a vital act of stewardship that protects the delicate, early stages of your harvest from the cold winds of other people's doubt. You are building an empire in the shadows, so that when you finally emerge into the light, your foundation is so secure that no opinion or monitoring eye can shake the fortress you have constructed. The ultimate objective of this sudden wealth transfer is not to transform you into a more comfortable consumer, but to activate you as a global steward of resource and influence. Most people fail the wealth test because they view money through the narrow lens of personal gratification, seeing it as a means to buy a better car, a bigger house, or more expensive labels. While these things are the natural fruit of your labor, they are not the root of your assignment. Transitioning into wealth sovereignty means you no longer work for money. Instead, money works for your vision. You must shift your identity from being someone who merely receives to being a distribution center for the kingdom. In this new state, you are a river, not a reservoir. A reservoir holds water until it becomes stagnant and lifeless. But a river allows a constant, fresh flow to pass through it, nourishing everything it touches. God is looking for individuals who can be trusted to handle the flow of billions because they have already committed to being the answer to someone else's prayer. Becoming a steward requires you to think beyond your own lifetime and begin planning for the third and fourth generations. This is the hallmark of true sovereignty, the ability to provide a platform for those who haven't even been born yet. You are being called to fund the widow, feed the orphan, and seed the movements that will shift the culture back toward light. This level of global stewardship demands a high degree of emotional maturity and a detachment from the ego. When you are a consumer, the money defines you. When you are a steward, you define the money. You must create a philanthropy plan and a legacy strategy long before the full weight of the harvest arrives, proving to the spiritual realm that you are a reliable partner in the restoration of the world. By embracing this mandate, you remove the ceiling from your potential, because there is no limit to what the universe will provide to a person who has become a conduit for the collective good. As part of this protocol, you must perform a physical act of honor that signals to the gates of supply that you have shifted from a mind of lack to a heart of abundance. Whether it is a seed of giving, a deep cleaning of your financial workspace, or the final drafting of your legacy plan, this act serves as the amen to the divine download you have received. You are no longer asking for permission to be wealthy. You are issuing a royal decree that the struggle is finished and the era of sudden overflow has been birthed. Standing in the authority of your chosen status, you command the north, south, east, and west to release the resources, the contracts, and the connections that have been held back by the ancestral virus you have now deleted. This 24-hour protocol is your bridge between the spiritual blueprints and the physical bricks of your empire. By the time the sun sets on this activation, the shift will no longer be something you are waiting for. It will be the air you breathe and the ground upon which you build your global legacy.